ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवतीं धीनामवेत्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् श्री साईश्वराय नमः हरिः ओम् अहं रुद्रेभिर्वसुभिश्चराम्यहमादित्यै ऋतविश्वदेवैः अहं मित्रावरुणो भावीभर्म्यहमिन्द्राग्नी अहमश्विनो भा अहं सोमामाहनसं बिभर्म्यहं त्वष्टागारमुतपूषणं भगम् अहं दाधामिद्रवीणं भविष्माते सुप्राव्ये सुन्वते अहं राष्ट्री सङ्गमानि वसूनां चिकितुषी प्रथमा यज्ञयागानां ताम्मागा देवाव्याददुः पुरुत्रा भूरिस्थात्रां भूर्यागा वेशयन्तीं मयासो अन्नामत्तियो विपश्याति यः प्राणीति ययीं शृणोत्युक्तम् अमन्तवो मान्तवुपक्षियन्ति सृधि श्रुत श्रद्धिवन्ते वदामि अहमेव स्वयमिदं वादामि जुष्टं देवेभिरुतमानुषेभिः यं कामयेतन्तामुग्रं कृणोमि तं ब्रह्माणं तं ऋषिं तं सुमेधाम् अहं रुद्राय धनुरातानोमि ब्रह्मद्विजे शरावे हन्तवा ऊ अहञ्जनागाय समदं कृणो न्यहन्त्यावागा पृथिवी आविवेश अहं सुवे पितरामस्य मूर्धन्मम योनिरप्स्वान्त समुद्रे ततो वितिष्ठे भुवनानु विश्वोतामुन्द्यां वर्ष्मणोपस्पृशामि अहमेव वाता इव प्रभागाम्या रभामाणा भुवनानि विश्वागा परो दिवा परयेना पृथिव्यैतावाति महीना सम्बाभूव ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्री साईश्वराय नमः हरिः ॐ द्रापे अन्धसस्पते दरिद्रन्नीललोहिता येषां पुरुषाणामेषां पशूनां मा भेर्मा रोमो येषां किञ्चनाममतु या ते रुद्रशिवा तनुः शिवा विश्वाघभेषजी शिवा रुद्रस्य भेषजी तजानो मृडजीवसे इमागुं रुद्राय तवसे कपर्दिने क्षयद्वीराय प्रभरामघे मतिं यथा नश्यमसद्विपदे चतुष्पदे विश्वं पुष्टं ग्रामे अस्मिन्ननातुरं मृडानो रुद्रोतनो मयस्कृधे क्षयद्वीराय नमसा विधेमते यच्छञ्च योश्च मनुरायजे पिता तदस्याम तव रुद्रप्रणीतौ मानो महान्तमुतमानो अर्भकं मानवुक्षन्तमुतमानवुक्षितं मानो वधीः पितरं मोत मातरं प्रियामानस्तनुवो रुद्ररीरिषः मानस्तोकेतनये मान आयुषि मानो गोषु मानो अश्वेषु रीरिषः वीरान्मानो रद्रभामितो वधीर्हविष्मन्तो नमसा विधेमते आरात्ते गोघ्नभूतपूरुषघ्ने क्षयद्वीराय सुम्नमस्मे ते अस्तु रक्षा च नो अधि च देव भ्रूक्ष्यधा च नश्च मयच्छद् विबर्हाः स्तुहि श्रुतं गर्तसदं युवानं मृगन्न भीममुपहत्नु मुग्रं मृडाचरित्रे रुद्रस्तवानो अन्यन्ते अस्मन्निवपन्तु सेनाः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Let us all be together. Let us all be nourished together. Let us all work together with great vigor. May our studies shine and illumine our intellects. May we not hate each other. Let there be peace, peace, and peace. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Shalom, Hari Om, Namaskar, Sai Ram. Thank you all for those of you who are spending your precious time and efforts to be part of this satsang, which is running now week 25, and we are in the 10th Anuvakam, contemplating on the 7th Ruk in the 10th Anuvakam. I was so happy and amazed to see this video that was released by Radio Sai. If you didn't get a chance, I sent the link to you all about Swami and Rudram and the journey of love for some of us who started this journey with Bhagwan back in 2003, 2004. I think the very first time we studied the Rudram was in 2004, 2005, before we all took a pilgrimage to, in 2006, as Central San Jose Center, to see Bhagavan in 2006 as a Sai center. So this Rudram at that time, I know some of our brothers and sisters who are on this call. I don't know if Sudama is on this call, but they were all part of. Yes, Sudha is there. Sudha, you were part of that very first thing that we did in Bikram.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for that beautiful experience. Yes.
it was the very first time we actually together learned Rudram. And then we went to Puttaparthi, and this 2006. It was totally. When I reflect back on it, I know how much it was Bhagwan's grace. In 2006, when we were all there as the center, Swami did this during that time. He did this beautiful leela where the very last day when we were about to leave, we all got a chance to sit in the mandir, and Bhagwan was sitting in the chair, and right in front of us were so many priests that were sitting there, and we had no idea what was going on. And this priest, Swami, comes, sits in the chair, and then calls this gentleman who had this long hair and tall. So he goes and talks to Swami, and then Swami asked them to chant, and they started chanting Rudram. And when they were all chanting Rudram, I had goosebumps because that is the first time in the presence of the physical presence of the Veda Purusha, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, along with a number of priests. A few of us who learned this Rudram in San Jose chanted in front of him. I did not understand what was the significance of that at that time, of course. And when we came out, and then that evening, there was a program done by Japan devotees, and the program was Veda, the breath of Sai. And they did chanted this Narayana Upanishad, all the Japanese. It was such a incredible experience for me to watch these Japanese chanting Narayana Upanishad, and they did their drama and on how they learned Narayana Upanishad. It was so touching because they didn't know it is very hard to write, I believe, Sanskrit script in Japanese. Many syllables are not there. I don't know if my sister from Japan, RT is online. She is from Japan. RT, you are on satsang today. Is that true that it is very hard to write Sanskritam in Japanese? RT is probably on mute. Yes. Anyway, and we all came back, and the next thing we knew was that Swami auditioned all those priests for Rudram chanting for Atirudra Mahayajna that he conducted that summer in Prashanti Nilayam, the very first Atirudra Mahayajna. And the tall gentleman with long hair was Dikshit Mama. And along with Dikshit Mama's Ritviks, we also got auditioned physically by Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. And of course, rest of it is his story. Dikshit Mama has been part of this body's journey with Rudram, conducting several Atirudra Mahayajna, and it did not stop there. After we came back, we did another Rudra study in Palo Alto. I think Pavan was part of that, right, Pavan?
Yes,
You,
Sairam. Yeah, yes.
yeah, and that was the second Rudram study or classes that were conducted. And then a third round happened in Sacramento. When was this? Go to 2009, 2010?
Around 2009.
2009. Yes, that's when I moved to Sacramento. And we did that in 2009. And then we had the Tirudra Mahayajna in Tiruvannamalai. And when we came back from Tiruvannamalai, um, it was a incredible experience of Rudram in Tiruvannamalai. And in 2017, when we came back from Tiruvannamalai, we conducted the next Rudram study, and that lasted for 2 years. Concluding that, we went to Kailas, and then this yajnam is happening because Bhagavan willed that this yajna is the Jnana yajna, because in this is a yajna in which I am not actually teaching how to chant, because that part has been mastered by so many of you, and now is the time to internalize this entire Rudram as our being, as our breath, as our thought, as our word, as our action, as our presence, as love. And yesterday, when I saw this video, it occurred to me, oh my God, there were so many things that I was watching about, how the students were sharing about how dear Rudram was to Bhagavan, and that he would call every student and ask, have you learned Rudram? Have you learned Rudram? And for whatever reason, only he knows, that initiation was done by Bhagavan back in 2004 until 2002. To be 100% honest with you, this body did not know Rudram. I did not chant Rudram before 2002. Only from 2000, the first time I started actually listening to Rudram was after 2000, in 2000. And that's a long story. I don't want to share my personal stuff here. This is all about Bhagavan's study and Bhagavan's insights. And no knowledge of any Sanskritam, no knowledge of any scriptures. It was purely Bhagavan's grace. Ever gratefulness is from every single one of us who have been exposed to Rudram only because of his grace. And this 10th Anuvakam that we are studying is all about the journey of love, which is filled with this grace. The Mahavakya of the Vedas, one of the Mahavakyas, or the supreme statements, if you were to call it in English, of Vedas is Tat Tvam Asi. Thou art that. I don't mean to trivialize this, but you see, when you translate into English, the self, the individual self is the statement, thou art that. But when you chant the Mahavakya in Sanskritam, Tat Tvam Asi, first is that, thou art. That is first, thou is next, art, Asi is the last. That thou art. But when we say it in English, thou art that. What is that? What is that? That. When you say the word tat, what is that? And that is that resplendent effulgence the life-sustaining force pervading the gross, subtle, and the causal. May that illumine our intellects. This is the Gayatri Mantra. Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naf Prachodayat. So that if is that is what is described as that infinite, all-encompassing and beyond, incomprehensible, immeasurable. Then the next one is thou, you, this individual. That and this are the same. That thou art. Tat Tvamasi. Now you are all wondering, why is this related to Rudram? Because as I was contemplating on the study discussion that has been happening and some perspectives being shared, it started intriguing me. And as I already mentioned, the first Anuvakam and this 10th Anuvakam are almost like, some mantras are almost like mirror images of each other. Now, this, that, and thou are the essence of all the religions and all the faiths that are focused on these two words, that and thou. Every religion is simply focused either on that or thou or a combination of both. Just check it out. For example, that means which is beyond comprehension, the infinite consciousness, whatever you may call it a name, that name is infinite potential. It is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Truth, all-knowing, and infinite. This is the definition of Brahman. Now, all the so-called dualistic religions is simply focused on that which we call as somewhere else the infinite potential, and it is 100% belief or faith based, where you are praying to someone or something or somebody or some aspect that is infinite potential, and you offer those prayers. It's 100% faith and belief that there is that infinite, that is immeasurable, incomprehensible, achintya, aprameya. And that is the essence of the religions such as Christianity and all these religions that are faith-based, including even in Hinduism, the Vaishnavites, the Shaivites, the Shaktites, all these are based on that principle of that infinite. And this was beautifully a book that was a small booklet that I had by Swami Akhandananda, describes all of this, and I am taking it from his writing from Ramakrishna Mutt. And then there is that thou, this individual self, or that self that you cognize embodied in this body-mind complex. And there are religions that are only focused on that individual self, and therefore is always focused on yoga, Sankhya, Buddhism, Jainism, all these other, what we call as, whether they're faiths or religions or whatever word you may want to call it, are focused on self-realization. self-illumination. Are you all with me so far? Yes? Am I making sense?
Yes.
Yes, Sai Ram.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Now, these two by in themselves or standalone are limiting if you think about it carefully, if you look at it carefully. And therefore, there are all other kinds of expositions such as Jiddu Krishnamurti or all these other aspects of, I, I don't know if it is appropriate to use this word, but it is agnostic to either thou or there or that. Probably a little bit leaning towards thou, because if you look at Jiddu Krishnamurti, his primary focus is about there is absolute, you got to completely erase everything associated with that, completely erase anything associated with any type of belief or philosophy, and only look at it individually. And there is that, no pun intended, there is that. Now, each one of them, if you really look at it, what is the problem with the thou religions? The limitation, I wouldn't say the problem. Problem is not the right word. What is the limitation associated with only the that religions? Because it's 100% belief based, and because it is 100% belief based, and that belief would, and that calibration of that 100% surrender and faith in that infinite, at some point or the other there is doubt, there is a question, there is all of this that happens, because it is immeasurable, it is incomprehensible. So it is very difficult to understand that there is that infinite consciousness that is all pervading, all knowing, and all potent. And therefore, you question. Some point or the other, the mind questions. It did for me. And it does about, even if that God came in completely human form, it still wants justification, some kind of evidence that there is infinite. And if you don't find it, you turn 180 degrees. Or you wobble, boom, boom. That's the limitation. Then there is the thou part, which is even more harder. Because constantly there has to be this self-vigil, whether the ego is operating or either the true self is operating. Like in yoga, Sankhya, Buddhism, Jainism, all these are 100% self-illumination focused. And what is the limitation of that? The limitation of that is that when you go through these troubles and tribulations, the challenges and everything, you swing. So the first Anuvakam of Sri Rudram, this is now the part that occurred in this last week of this, perhaps an insight, not maybe completely an insight. I was thinking the first Anuvakam was about thou. The 10th Anuvakam is about that. Now what is Rudram doing? It's very beautifully synchronizing and building this bridge between that and thou. Therefore, you realize as a self, you are infinite. But when you feel you are finite, there is that infinite. This synthesis of the thou and the that is what is happening in Sri Rudram. So this entire Sri Rudram essence is Tattvamasi. In between is the Asi. The first Anuvakam is the thou. The 10th Anuvakam is the that. 10th and even 11th Anuvakam are that. And in between is Asi. Whenever you feel finite, whenever you feel infinite, you have both, the best of the both, as to say. The essence of Sankhya, Yoga, all those things is self-purification. Therefore, first Anuvakam is purity. 10th and 11th Anuvakams are divinity. And in between connection is unity. Any questions, comments? Because that should put in context what we are going to study as the next few rooks. With that perspective, now we look at the next few rooks. Then you will find, why are we talking about all of a sudden the perspective of the infinite and asking it to protect, asking it to take care, asking it to be all of that. Yes, Kusuma, Sairam? You want?
Sairam. So, very interesting concept, because in the external world, I'm going through a course. So there's one student, this is an international thing about giving feedback. So this happens at home with everybody around, your friends. Yeah, it's a very interesting course. So there was a question that was asked by a very young girl. She said, how would you hold on to the basic concept? The basic concept is everybody knows everything. Probably there is something that came to do that error, or to miss something, or the person did not do except expected behavior, whatever it could be. So that's to hold on to the core values in giving feedback, or in our behavior patterns, talking, and all the human values. So I think it boils down to that, because how would you hold on to the core value, that is the love, and that is the truth for now, and still you'll be a good listener wherever you are, wherever you're placed, in whatever situation it might be.
Yes, I can make a comment on that, and then we will go to the next rook. Very simply put, the 5 human values are all about living in love, and that is what we have been studying. Love in speech is truth. Love in action is right conduct, dharma. Love in thought is peace. Love in feeling is non-violence. Love is giving and forgiving. So there is living, there is living, there is learning, there is listening, there is loving, there is laughing. 5. This, in my opinion, is how you bring that to practice. Living, having a life, not living. That is truth, because it's here and now. You're breathing, you're living. That is truth. Then you are learning all the time. That is right conduct. That is dharma. Then you are listening. Then you are peace. You are loving, and then you are laughing. You are having fun. That is ahimsa. No rocket science involved here. It is so simple, and God is so simple. Everything else is complex. Everything else is complex. Just taking those 5 words, as Bhagavan once prompted me in a satsang, actually, again, all of it is his only. Nothing belongs to this. That's the practicality. Laughing is non-violence. Can anybody not connect to any of those 5? Living, learning, listening, loving, laughing. No, listening is peace. When you are listening, you are in peace, because you are not trying to figure out an answer. You are simply listening. Anyway, I'm not trying to, it may be for you whatever words they are. I'm not trying to give you a dictum or give you something, say that this is the only thing. It could be anything that you feel, but I'm giving you a pointers. That's all. I'm not saying listening is peace or this is that, how I connect to it. There is really, this is human values in life, how you live with the human values. Arat te goghna uta purushaghne kshayadviraya sumnamasmete astu rakshachano adhichadeva bruhyadachana sharmayachadvibarhaha. We went through this last time, and we will look at the next mantra. Any questions or comments before we move on to the next mantra?
Sairam,
Yes, Ma Sairam.
as you said, the first Anuvakam and the 10th Anuvakam, how we made from to that. I think once we reach that, there is nothing anything to be done. There is nothing you need to do. Nothing, because only that exists, and if anything being done, it is that jobs to do that through this body. So don't worry about how do you do this, how do you do that. Only that exists, only that takes care of that does, because that is ultimately making you say what you are saying. That's ultimately making you listen what you are doing. It's ultimately making you think what you do. So leave it at that, and don't go beyond saying you have to do this to love or anything. You have reached that end. There is nothing
Yes, sir.
beyond.
Yes, sir. There is. I think what we are saying is that is the essence of Vedanta. What you are quoting is the essence of Vedanta, where the finite and the infinite, thou art that, you are that, Tattvamasi, is execution of the infinite through the finite. That's the beauty of what we're calling as the synthesis. It's not just saying everything is that, da 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 da. But what happens to you? Now you're saying, no, you are that. Thou art that. And therefore, this 10th Anuvakam that we are studying is about that. The first Anuvakam we studied is about thou, and in between the bridge that everything is happening is realizing that through this. So this and that are very simply, as we went through several times, it's the source and the reflection analogy, and the and the context of what we're talking as the mirror and the everything. So if you take out the mirror, then there is only one. But the context of the mirror as the antakaranas, the mano buddhi chitta ahankara, as long as they are are the the instruments that you are associated with, this so-called paradox exists. And what I'm trying to say is, Rudram is very simply elaborating this principle of seeing that thou art that so clearly, crystal clear expansion of thou art that. That's all I'm saying.
Sairam, this is Kumar. And Sairam, merging. Initially, you explained linga. The tattvam for lingam is the merging and emerging. So the same principle applicable here also, no?
Absolutely. Yes.
That and
yes, merging and emerging.
Thanks, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that, bringing that into context as well. So what Gobi is saying is 100% to kartrurajnaya prapyate phalam. Kartrurajnaya prapyate phalam. Karma kim param. Karma tajjadam. This is the very first couplet in Upadeshasaram. Kartrurajnaya prapyate phalam. Karma kim param. Karma tajjadam. Kruti mahodadhau. Patana karanam. Phalama shashvatam. Gati nirodhakam. Ishwararpitam. Nechaya kritam. All these couplets, if you have patience and Bhagavan wills, maybe we will do Upadeshasaram one of these days. And that experience of the Upadeshasaram has made this Sri Rudra more practical and more comprehensible and relevant. So the context of what we are saying, Arate Goghna Uta Purushagne Kshayadviraya Sumnamasmete Astu Rakshachanaha Adhichadeva Bruhi Adhachanaha Sarmayachad Vibarha. This is love in feeling. Sumnam Asmete Astu. Peace. So far we have gone through different aspects of this love as we started from the first Anuvakam. Love is the form, expansion is the life. This is all about now that love. Love is the healer for the source and the universe. Love is the root of sacrifice. Love in action is dharma, that is fourth ruk. Love in understanding, the fifth and the sixth ruk, as non-violence. Love in feeling is the peace. Sumnam, Kshayadviraya, Sumnam. Then Adhicha, Adhacha. Those are the Dvibarha. The relative and the absolute, or the personal and the absolute. Adhi, Adha. Your, you, and that. You is finite, that is infinite. Raksha, in both those aspects, you will have complete peace, sharma, yacha, dvibarha. In both those aspects, you will have peace. Why? Because you have sumnam. How is that coming? Chayadviraya. What is that Chayadviraya? Rajasic feeling that you are separate from that love. That is the Rajasic feeling. Or you want to own that love. That you are, even like Gobi was saying, that you have nothing to do here. Just you are that love. Therefore, what you're saying, Kshayadviraya, all my Rajasic feelings that I am in charge, I am doing, I am this, I am that, if that is gone, that I referred to as the ego aspect in this love, then what happened? Sarmaya Dvibarha. What are the Dvibarhas? The two aspects. Dvibarha means two aspects. By the way, Barha, you know what is Barha? Barhi is the peacock feather. Barhi pinchava chudangam. Huh? So the context, I mean, there are so many, these beautiful words truly have to be meditated upon and individuals connected upon it. Not trying to make it only this, only that. That is not the point of the satsang. The point of the satsang is we are looking at something together. Sumnamasmete astu. Yes.
Could you talk about the in between? There is a bruhi also, adi and adha.
Okay. Yeah. Bruhi means exalting. Bruhi means expounding, exalting. Bruhi means that. So, what are you exalting? You are exalting that now. What is that? Which can manifest as Goghna, Purushagna, or that which can give you Sumnam, Sharma, where Adhicha, Adhacha. Protection from what? Protection from those Rajasic feelings that need to be annihilated. What do those Rajasic feelings do? They separate you from this oneness of love. So that which separates your being from that, let that be put aside far away. What is it that is need to be put away? That which destroys your goghna, your conscience from the consciousness. Separation of the conscience from the consciousness. Let that be destroyed. Let that be put away. Aratate. Purushagna. Also connecting with the supreme consciousness. One which destroys your presence from this oneness. One that destroys your presence in conscience. Let that be far away. And may your good feelings, sumnam, peaceful feelings. What Bhagavan said about peace? Very beautiful, very beautiful quote from Bhagavan. Having bad feelings is ignoble. Having good feelings is noble. Thoughtlessness is peace. So if the I want peace, again another quote from Bhagavan, the I is the Rajasic nature, which results in want, the desire. If the Rajasic nature, Kshayadviraya, then the desire as in the want are taken away. Sumnam asmete astu. What you have is peace. We are still in loving feeling is peace, which is the seventh Anuvakam. Yes. Any other questions, comments?
Sujata. So we are talking from Dvaitam to Advaitam. Is that oneness we are seeking and no separation and you and thou and thou?
I am seeking should be gone.
Okay.
From I am seeking to simply seeing.
One. Okay.
Simply seeing. See always inside. S-A-I. Sai.
Thank you. Thank you.
Am I going too slow with this, Rudram? Am I bothering you with all of this stuff? I can very simply focus on the mantras and the meaning and move away. But if we do that, then it is not a Jnana Yajna. Yes, Sairam.
Not at all.
Okay, Cecilia, I was listening your voice. Yes.
Sairam, and if we go any faster, it'll be like any other pravachans. So what you're doing is fantastic and really love this and appreciate it. Thank you.
So thank you for the 5 things that you told us today: the living, the listening, and laughing. So that boils down to um, um, the Papa Bhiti and Daiva Bhakti, because I myself can notice the change within myself before things that used to irritate me, not to cause harm in either thought, word, or deed. Um, I'm amazed at the change, the transformation that I'm going through, because um, a lot of people in the house, or conversations, and this is the most sensitive period for all of us, handling our own emotions and still being useful for others in a nice way. It's a very interesting concept, and I thank you a lot for. So
Sairam. All thanks to Bhagavan. Everything belongs to him. So the next ruk that we are going to focus on is the words of it are stuhi shrutam gartasadam yuvanam mruganna bhimam upahatnum ugram mruda jaritre rudraha tavano anyante asmannivapantu senah. I will leave today with the literal meaning of this so that you can contemplate on this tonight. And then when we come back tomorrow, we will study this mantra in the context of what this is. Stuhi. If I show too much here, mind cannot focus. Let's focus on the words. Stuhi Shrutam Gartasadam Yuvanam Mrugam Na Bhimam Upahatnum Ugram Mruda Jaritre Rudra Stavanaha Anyam Te Asmat Nivapantu Senah. Stuhi means praise. Shrutam, the great one. And this is the what sorry, did I go through that? Did I lose the yeah, there you go. Stuhi is praise. Shrutam is the celebrated one, extolled in the Vedas. Garta Sadam, the one who is cave. Garta in Telugu, for Telugu people, Garta means Gunta. When I saw this word Garta Sadam on a personal note, I was ecstatic because the place I come from is called in Sanskritam Gartapuri. Gartapuri. And later on it became Guntur. Gartasadam. Yuvanam, ever young. Terrible at the time of destruction. Like a ferocious lion. Ugram. Mrugam na bhimam upahatnum means destruction of the enemies and of the universe in the end. Rudra, Rudra, make us happy, Mruda, by how? Stavanaha, by praying Jaritre through this mortal frame. Let your armies te senah nivapantu, wipe out what is different from us. Asmat anyam te senah nivapantu. That is the Rudra. Make us happy by praising you through this mortal frame, Jaritre, so that te sena asmat anyat nivapantu, your armies will destroy what is different from us. That is the literal meaning of that mantra. Stuhi shrutam garta sadam yuvanam mrugam na bhimam upahatnu mugram mruda jaritre rudra stavanaha anyante asmat nivapantu senaha. With that, I think we are at the end of the hour. Unless there are any other burning questions or comments. Yes. Yama, Sairam, everybody is blissed out or what? No questions? Aruna, no questions? Wow. Are people online or not? Okay.
Yes, Anna.
Okay, how are you?
I'm doing Anna. Very good. Sai Rama.
Okay, beautiful. So, if there are no questions or comments, let's close with 9 samastas. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु 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 ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय साई राम
Jai Ram.
Sairam
Sai Ram.
Shekhar garu.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ramana, thank you.
Sai Ram, sir. Thank